Welcome to the Home Care Resource Hour. I'm Rick Ferrante on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Home Care Services Santa Clarita has produced this show for those in our community who have seniors or another loved one who needs assistance in their home. Families in that situation often need tips, information, advice. So the staff at Home Care Services has designed this show as a resource for those facing those challenges. And here to help me with some of that advice and information is our guest, Tom Burton.
Well, hi, Rick.
Tom.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay.
Tom is an orthopedic program manager at Providence Holy Cross, and welcome. And well, we want to talk about a little bit here, and it's something that we're, in terms of this show, what we're doing is trying to provide people who have somebody at home and need some assistance, generally seniors. Mm-hmm. And when we think about that, people don't necessarily think about getting sick. They don't necessarily think about going into the hospital. But, and it's not fun, right? So this is not something we want to think about. But what are some of the things that we want to do maybe to be prepared for that, and especially if we're helping somebody in that situation?
Gosh, I hope we have a couple hours to talk about this. Having just gone through this actually with family, I think the first piece as a family member of a patient is to really get a good idea of what their wishes are. And what a hard conversation to have, but it's a necessary one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would imagine. So, okay, you're thinking this is important. This is what I want to be able to bring this up. Well, how do you start that? I mean, what would you think? How would you kind of approach that? I'm walking in, I sit down at the kitchen table, right? At least that's what we do, Italians. We sit down at the kitchen table and talk about important things. How would you start that conversation?
Well, I think with my family, it started when my mom had gotten sick, and then the reality of it is that we didn't have all of the answers to know exactly what wishes were going to want to be followed or not, and because of that, we had that conversation with my dad where we actually just said, "Hey, listen, we just went through an awful lot of stuff, in a similar situation, how would you like us to handle this?" And part of it was an easy way, was that he created his living will, where there is a very large section where they actually go through this questionnaire, or at least with the company that he went with.
So you kind of had that scenario, which didn't necessarily work out the way you wanted it to the first go around, and then because of that, you thought, "Oh, hey, this is something we've got to do now. Hey, Dad, we got to." So maybe I wonder if it's something where, if you have, you think about, I had a friend or I had somebody that went through this, and this was tough for them. We got to work this out. We got to kind of figure this out so it's not tough for us. Because I would imagine, so in your field and when you dealing with this, it's not the patient that's really going through. I mean, yes, they're going through the medical thing, but all the rest of this, it's not them. It's everybody else.
Yeah, it's funny with our show. The one thing that the physicians seem to always say is that they have to spend a lot more time actually caring for the family. The patient seems to be doing okay with everything. They're the ones going through it, but it's the family, because they're in and out. They're not 24 hours involved with it at all the time. And so there's a lot of misinformation or not a lot of information being given out, or the information exchange may not be understood from family member to family member. So that part of it, the physician really has to care for the family, not just the patient. And luckily enough, that's kind of the approach that they're taking with Holy Cross, is the physicians are trying to assure that the family is comfortable. The nursing staff is talking with the family to make sure that they're comfortable. The physical therapist, the occupational therapist, the respiratory therapist, lab, everybody is there trying to educate anyone who's in that room to assure that everyone kind of has a good understanding of what's going on.
Interesting. So yeah, you kind of this team approach, and everybody's in there, and then, but not just team in terms of the medical profession side, the team in terms of the family side.
Correct.
This is all, the whole gang kind of thing. So, all right, let's say that I am, instead of waiting until this situation arises, what would you, if I walked into your office and I said, okay, I want to have all this sort of laid out beforehand.
Right.
What kind of the steps would you say you need to think about? 1, 2, 3. What are those things you might say to them?
Well, it's when we do our class, for instance, we have a conversation regarding advanced directives.
Okay,
and
well, important.
that's actually probably one of the big ones, because that is a nice way of being able to open into that conversation. And we try to explain it. So, from the age of 18 going forward, it is recommended that you have an advanced directive. And the reason why it's 18, because at 17 your family can still speak for you, but at 18 you're an adult, you can speak for yourself. And so if something were to happen that maybe you can't communicate effectively, or at the time, or maybe you're on a lot of medication that doesn't allow you to answer effectively, then it would be nice to have a family member, someone that you can designate. Hey, listen, if anything were to occur, I want you to be in and speaking for me, and then that opens to the next question or answers is like, well, what do you want? I'm not sure what to answer for you.
Sure.
If you have to be intubated, if you have to be, if there's surgery involved, how much heroics do you really want them to do? And when you go home, are you okay going home? Is there someone that's going to be able to help you if they live by themselves, let's just say, or are they comfortable with going to a skilled nursing facility because you may not be able to, or do they have the means maybe to have an in-home assistant? Maybe visiting or something. So all of those things, it's a lot, but it's kind of an important one, because I'll tell you, we weren't ready the first time. The second time, I think we were better prepared. But it was difficult.
Yeah, and I think let's kind of unpack this just for a second. Back up for a second. 18 years old, and we're not talking about just mom and dad or grandma or whoever it is. We're talking about kids here. I'm basically 18 years old. But so really important. Somebody's 18 years old and ends up in some kind of incapacitation. You cannot speak for that person unless that advanced directive is in place.
Right. Now, if they can't speak for themselves, then they will usually go to the parents.
Okay.
Right.
So, but the problem is that if they can, then but they have, there is some confusion here. Then you don't have somebody that's already been identified that says, yes, this is the person I want making some of these decisions. This is a person I want to even know what's happening to me. If you don't have that, depending on the hospital too, I know there's a little bit kind of, some of them are this way and that way. But hey, they may not give you any information. So my kid's sitting there and they won't even tell me what's going on.
Right.
So really important. So just start with there. You turn 18, I would say my opinion here, my own personal opinion is go get that. It's not hard. I mean, you need a big attorney and you just go online, get advanced directive.
You can go online and do it. You can actually contact, like at Holy Cross, I believe we can call spiritual care. Spiritual care will be able to assist you with all of those needs.
Perfect.
And that's important, and that's just advanced directive. Now, if you have somebody who might be actually sicker, to a point where they might be looking at maybe filling out a pulsed form, which is kind of something that will give, very directed information, no heroics, no intubation, giving specific instructions as far as what they would prefer versus not prefer given the situation.
Got it. So now we kind of go to that next level. So first of all, just go do it. If you don't have an advanced care health directive, go do it now on anybody that is 18 years or older. Now, the next level then is, beyond that, I want my desires or my what I want to happen known. So that's when you start getting into maybe other documents like you were talking about, or getting an attorney involved. But it's important to have that in place, I would imagine, as a physician on your side of things, to say, well, I want to have that. I want this person to know that too. Otherwise, right?
Exactly, because there's the physicians will be caring for someone based off of what their need is going to be,
right?
And they were going to do the most they can for that patient with the best of their knowledge and skill, and that best of their knowledge and skill may not be on the same line as far as what the patient is willing to allow to have happen. And so the physician is actually one of the team members. Their primary care, as well as the normal hospital they would go to, all of them should have the same information. And it was funny because you just were going to say something, and it kind of came to my mind, was that not only do we have to have the conversation with my dad, that I had the conversation with my dad because I was the medical power of attorney, but we had to involve the family everybody needed to be on the same page. And the reason for that was that same page said, because my brother could challenge. So if my dad says, I don't want to have this test done, if it ever comes to it, and that test comes around, and I say, no, he did not want to do that, your family member, another family member, could actually challenge that. And the hospital will have to go the path of least resistance, which is we're going to do the test. Okay. So, that's one of the things, too, is everybody needs to be on the same page. It's not just the person who's speaking for them, but all of the family who might be included in any conversation or involvement. So
we're here with Tom Burton, who is an orthopedic program manager at Providence Holy Cross, and we're here on the Home Care Resource Hour. I'm Rick Ferrante. Tom, as we're going through this, all of these things kind of happen, and we're talking about helping and assisting a family member. Sometimes all this is done, which we would like to do, by the senior or by the person beforehand. And I've heard this kind of scenario happen before where, we've got the trust, we've got the will, we've got the directive and everything, but it's sitting in a safety deposit box somewhere. And then you were talking about personal things, the same thing with me, my mother-in-law, where is this thing? But if you're incapacitated or you have some issues and you're not able to tell them. So I think one of the things is, and that I've heard, is you got to let people know.
You have to let people know. Because otherwise the medical community is going to do the best for you that they can, and it may be completely outside of the wishes that you want.
Got it. So I think that one of the things here is making that copy or whatever it is and giving it to the various different family members and kind of straightening all that out. And now going back here in terms of the family dynamics, and maybe you help me out, scenarios that this
right.
We're rolling our eyes here on radio, but it is definitely, and I'm doing the same thing because this is what we see a lot of times even in home care, that the issues, and it's almost like these could be solved if they were all worked out beforehand. But tell me, have you seen these kinds of scenarios where because there's no instructions, that it really kind of tears this family apart in terms of the decisions and what they're trying to do and the decisions they're making for mom or dad and that kind of thing, because they don't all agree, right?
Yes. No, it does happen to a point where we've got committees that will weigh in on these. We'll have family meetings with patients.
What do you mean a committee?
They actually have committees. They have ethics committees that will actually sit down and take a look and say, ethically speaking, what is going to be the right way to go at the hospital.
Okay,
because we're kind of responsible for that.
Right.
One of the nice things is that who will be on. You'll be with me next week, and who will also be joining us is Dr. Kalani, who's a palliative care physician, being able to involve somebody who can actually take that 30,000-foot overlook on the entire situation and see how can we one, make sure that everyone understands exactly what's going on based off of the variety of specialists who might be involved with that family member, and then give reasonable, realistic advice, or not advice, but what the outcomes will most likely be, so that way everyone can be making educated decisions. And that's one of the ways that the hospital, at least over at Holy Cross, has been able to do, is by having that palliative care team, we can have that conversation. And having actually been involved in those conversations with my own family, I don't think, though it's a difficult conversation, it was a good conversation to have, because it really allowed for the entire room to have a really good understanding of exactly what is the situation. And, it's people can give information and hold on to information, but if it's not being communicated correctly to the same person, that's a problem. And so those family meetings are so important, because otherwise you're reliant on basically playing a telephone line.
Oh, sure. Right, yeah.
So, and we know how that turns out. Whatever it starts at completely is different by the time it gets to the other side.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of comes in with their own preconceived notions or whatever. Maybe I talked to mom 10 years ago. I talked to her last week. How do you get that to mesh together? And what you said a minute ago, and I think, just to kind of reiterate this point, this idea of a third party or somebody that is kind of a little bit separated out, certainly engaged to the extent that they want what's best for, everybody involved. but doesn't come in with all of that baggage, shall we say, that can kind of take a perspective that, okay, let's kind of figure all this out without the history, without the drama and all that. Have you seen that be effective?
Oh,
and how does that work?
It really is. It really is, and that's really where that palliative care came in for us personally. They were able to come in without bias, and when I say bias, since I work within the orthopedic department, I am very attuned towards orthopedic problems and what can be fixed, and we can do this, and we can do this, and we can do this. However, vascular may look at it a different way. Neurology may look at it a different, that their portion has. But palliative care is really coming in and taking a look at what's going to be, what is going on with the patient, what's going on with the family, with that whole dynamic, to assure that they're going to take all of these specialists who have their bias, and they're going to take a look at it in totality. How can we best help this patient?
So if I want to have that, let's say, so I have a situation where, and this, it's hard to plan for this, but let's kind of keep that in mind, that that's what we're doing. What do I do? I'm at the hospital. They've been admitted to the hospital for whatever the situation is. I want to have this. What do I do? Where do I go in terms of at Holy Cross? Do I ask for that? What do I ask for? And what do we do?
You ask for it. So if you find that normally you're going to have maybe some specialists working with you, you're going to have an attending, which is kind of the medical person who's kind of overseeing the general care. However, if as a family member, if you feel like we need to have this synopsized, we need to have a really good understanding of what are we looking at in the near future, and what are we looking at in the further off time. Can we bring palliative care in? And palliative care isn't what everyone would think like end of life type care. Palliative care is the one that's going to help that journey get from point A to point B and to point C, where there is an actual conclusion. That conclusion can be cure, but it might take a long time, and someone needs to be there to kind of help plan that out. What's the timeline? What events do we need to reach before we can move on to the next piece and to the next piece? And so palliative care is really nice because they can take that kind of unbiased look at a person's actual situation and then actually bring it and verbalize it really well. And that was very helpful in both of my parents' cases.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So then this is available. I mean, you can do it for anybody that comes in. You don't have to have some certain diagnosis to be using the palliative, professionals there that can kind of help guide all this through.
Right. And
what a great service. I mean, what a great thing.
And then the attending actually could probably take a look at it and go, in these cases, we normally wouldn't use a palliative care consult. If it seems pretty straightforward as far as what we're looking at. However, if the want is there, the families have the right to have the conversation with their attending and go from there.
Perfect. That is some great advice. The kind of things that, we don't want to think about, but it's great, and that's the whole point here, is to think about it beforehand so that when the time comes and you're all emotional and everything's going on, that what's going on. I appreciate this. This is really good information from Tom Burton, who's the orthopedic program manager at Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. Tom, thank you very much for coming in. I very much appreciate it. And we'll definitely, and I guess I'm on your show here next week.
We'll catch up next week for sure. And Rick, welcome for the inaugural day. And, thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. So.
Perfect. And if you want more...
And the work you're doing, because it's hugely important.
A lot of resource out there for people that need it. And if you want more information or have questions regarding this or any of our conversations, contact us at Home Care Services, 661-412-0710, or go to our website, homecaresantaclarita.com. And one other thing here, we have another guest at Home Care Services. We often get asked if there are classes or workshops to get more information about specific health issues. And did you know that there were resources right here available in our valley for that kind of thing? I didn't. So this is good. Up next, we have Liz Terabor of Henry Mayo, who will give us some details about what they have available at Henry Mayo Fitness and Health Center. And that's up next on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Perfect.
Come join me, Arif Halby, for Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Every Tuesday at noon, we uncover ways to help you manage your money, get out of debt, and prepare for your retirement. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Are you not sure if you can retire yet? Listen to us and learn about tips for savings, retirement strategies, and so much more. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS.
Little Eye Leaders is the newest preschool in the Santa Clarita Valley. At Little Eye Leaders, our outstanding teachers lead with intellect, perspective, and heart. That means our programs provide a warm, nurturing atmosphere to meet the unique needs of each child. We believe that play is a powerful form of learning for young children. That's why our kids have every opportunity to learn through the magic and excitement of play. Parents, schedule a tour today by calling 303-0400 or online at littleeyeleaders.org.
For the first time in our history, 50% off of everything in the store. It's the huge 40th anniversary sale going on now at a Royal Suite. Everything, yes, everything is on sale at 50% off. Bedrooms, dining rooms, living rooms, recliners, and Murphy beds all at 50% off. Even the huge selection of mattresses from Diamond and Englander. See the new line of adjustable beds at 50% off. Nothing will be held back. Everything from every manufacturer. Come early for the best selection. Everything 50% off at the big 40th anniversary sale at a Royal Suite in Center Point across from Sam's Club or at aroyalsuite.com.
Hi, Santa Clarita. This is Rosemary with Beyond Harmony Med Spa with some great news about Kurt Stinson. Now, why am I telling you about a plumber? When I had a horrible plumbing situation at my house, Thanksgiving morning, house full of people, of course I called Kirk. He rushed right over, took care of our problem. The prices were so reasonable, I couldn't even believe that I was paying that on Thanksgiving Day. If you need a plumber, Kirk Stinson is the guy to call.
Plumbing by Kirk, 263-6519, or visit plumbingbykirk.com.
La Esmeralda is home to truly authentic Mexican food. This family-owned restaurant prides itself on its fresh-to-order menu. Even the tortillas are made in-house. If you have a taste for sizzling fajitas, menudo, flautas, or ceviche, you have to try La Esmeralda's Mexican and seafood restaurant. Dine in or order out for the most authentic Mexican food Santa Clarita has to offer. Their Taco Tuesday? It'll turn you into a regular. La Esmeralda on Bouquet at Haskell.
There's only one Santa Clarita plastic surgeon who is Yale trained and board certified, Dr. Justin Heller.
To be a board certified plastic surgeon like myself, what that truly entails is about 5 to 7 years of honed surgical training in reconstructive, all areas, as well as aesthetics, which means your facelifts, your breast augmentations, your body contouring, true training, and board certification. In fact, that's the only board certified area that can be achieved in this realm.
Dr. Justin Heller, warm, understanding, always available for guidance because he's local. HellerPlasticSurgery.com.
The most family-friendly, free Halloween celebration is at Real Life Church, Saturday, October 28th from 3 to 8 p.m. Have your kids enjoy Halloween in a safe, friendly setting, including an indoor magic show, petting zoo, trunk-or-treat area, and a ton of free candy. Be sure to come hungry and enjoy food vendors, bounce in the bounce houses, play games at the park, and get pumpkins at the pumpkin patch. Halloween at Real Life Church, Saturday, October 28th from 3 to 8 p.m. Full details at reallifechurch.org.
Hometown. Your hometown station.
This is the Home Care Resource Hour. I'm Rick Ferrante on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for those in our community who have a senior or other loved one who may need some assistance in their home, and is produced by Home Care Services Santa Clarita. And so here with me today in studio is Liz Terabor, who is a registered dietitian at Henry Mayo Community Education. And welcome, Liz.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm great. It's great that you came in. We've got a chance to meet and talk. And okay, so Liz, there are many people here in Santa Clarita who are looking for information and help with various health issues they're dealing with, and in particular for maybe a loved one or someone out there that they're caring for. And these are people who have their work and families to deal with, but then there's this added burden of helping this senior that they want to keep independent in their home.
Yes.
Now, it sounds like, and we've talked about, that there are some resources there at Henry Mayo and Community Education over there in the Health and Fitness Center
Yes.
that are available. What kind of things are over there?
Well, a lot of people don't know we're tucked away over on Town
hidden.
Center Drive. It's where the old Spectrum Fitness Center used to be, Henry Mayo Fitness and Health. But inside of there, we have a community education department. And this department is there specifically to educate our community. And almost everything we offer is free. There's only one or two little things that have small fees associated with them. But we have over 20 classes of different types that are there and available for our community to learn all about health and keeping themselves healthy.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is a resource, for the most part, free resource. I mean, obviously, this is great for people. A lot of people don't realize this. It's not like you got giant billboards out there telling, free classes here at Henry Mayo. But people need to realize this because it's out there and available. And for anybody to come in and take advantage of. Now, evenings, during the day, one of these classes?
It's a combination. There's a mix of different time frames. So all of that is on the Henry Mayo website and on the Henry Mayo Fitness and Health website, the list of classes. There's lots of classes such as diabetes, heart health, COPD, all sorts of things, Alzheimer's support groups. There's various support groups for different illnesses as well. Tons of nutrition classes. And like I said, they're all free, and all you have to do is just call and register and show up.
Okay, so that was the other question. So you do have to register. It's not like you just walk in.
Now, we usually don't say no to a walk-in, but it is good for us to know how many people are attending our classes.
Okay, perfect. So just give a call, and that's all you got to do. Hey, I'm coming. Me and my husband or whatever it is.
Or you can register online.
And register online. Perfect. And then come to and pick a class or two and go and learn some things. And these are obviously classes not for physicians. These are classes for the community. So it's kind of laid out into those terms that something like me could understand.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Very basic level education. Usually we have flyers, and the information is available online that describes each class. So you can learn and see if that's going to be a good fit for you.
Perfect. Again, we're with Liz Terabor of Henry Mayo. She's with the Community Education Department over there, and talking about some of the resources at Henry Mayo that you may not have known about, free resources. Now, one of them that you had said and talked specifically, there were several of them, but one was diabetes. And I know there's a lot of people either new to this world of diabetes that are helping someone at home that, okay, now this is becoming more of an issue and more of a problem. I've got to kind of get some more information about it. Or they've been dealing with this for a while, but either way, to need some information and things like that about it. So let's talk a little bit in specific about diabetes. Again, there's other classes, but let's talk about that and what kind of things are out there. What is diabetes? Where are we going with all this? And then how do you address it there at Henry Mayo?
Right. Okay. Well, maybe I should start with some of the statistics out there.
Okay.
About 30 million people in the United States have diabetes. That's 10% of our population.
1 out of 10 people have diabetes.
Yes. Okay. And then there's 86 million people that have prediabetes, which is kind of where you're starting to have some high blood sugars, but you're not quite diagnosed with diabetes yet. And that's 1 out of 3 of us. And the staggering statistic is that 9 out of 10 of those people that have prediabetes don't know they have it.
Oh my gosh. So they're walking around time bomb.
Yes. So, and it definitely affects the aging population, which I know we're talking about how our seniors can be helped. And so some of the classes that we do offer is diabetes classes, which are classes that kind of have a 2-part series where they come, and it's more of a facilitator-led, not so much a classroom with a PowerPoint presentation. It's more of a group workshop. And they learn how to manage their diabetes. And then we also have a pre-diabetes program that is intended to help people that have prediabetes not get diabetes. And that's actually a year-long program that we have.
Year-long program. Okay, well, so let's back up. So first of all, this is a preventative program, effectively.
Yes.
So it's pre-diabetes. I mean, you're not diagnosed with diabetes at this point, but you have the high blood sugar. You're susceptible here to being...
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So now, and 1 in 3 people are in this position, and most of them have no idea.
Absolutely.
Okay, first of all, how am I going to go find that out?
Okay, well, the first thing you could do is just do your regular doctor's checkup that we all should be doing, once or twice a year, and having your labs checked. And you could ask specifically for a lab called the hemoglobin A1C. It's a lab that is able to look back at about your last 3 months of your blood sugars and see if it's been consistently running high. So that's a good lab that is a diagnostic lab for diabetes or pre-diabetes. But then a random blood glucose is a good test as well, just because if it's super high, then you know that there is reason to be concerned.
You're one of those 1 of 3, and that's a lot. That's there's a couple of us in this room, so I'd imagine one of us should be prepared for being in this situation. Okay, so now I've kind of got that. I'm in that ballpark. I'm one of those number. So now we're in terms of this class. That's what you say, a year long. So explain, give me a little bit about how that class works.
It is an amazing program. It's a CDC program, Center for Disease Control. So they have developed the curriculum. It's a nationwide program based on some major research studies that were done that were shown to help with preventing diabetes. So after that major research study, the CDC decided to implement it as a program nationwide to help our communities. So it is the first 6 months of the program are a little more intensive. It's once a week. You come in for about an hour, and it's also in a setting where it's almost kind of like a support group. It's interactive, not an instructor in front of a classroom. It's more of a support group. And then the second 6 months are more of about like once or twice a month. It's a little bit less intensive. It's more of a maintenance type.
So gradually gets that. So
right.
You start with the high intensity, and you kind of
right.
Taper off a little bit. Okay.
And the main goals are, 1, to increase physical activity. And I don't mean exercise, gym memberships. I mean just being active and less sedentary. So the goal is 150 minutes of exercise a week, which could be, and this is what I would not only recommend for the pre-diabetes that we're doing this program for, but for the general population,
everybody.
These would be the recommendations.
Okay.
So our senior population that is running into heart health, diabetes, these would be good recommendations under a physician guidance, obviously. But 150 minutes of physical activity a week, that could be broken up into any kind of segments, maybe 30 minutes 5 days a week, or fewer days a week. But also a 5 to 7% weight loss, which really isn't a lot. If you weighed 200 pounds, that would be about 10 pounds.
Okay. And this is all now, and this is part of this program that you're kind of addressing and laying out that. It's a keeping you honest kind of thing, and you keep you there, and is it basically helping you, giving you some tools and things like that to do that, right? How's that work?
Absolutely. So every class has kind of a different topic.
Okay.
And the topics have tools associated with them. It might be learning how to portion control. And then since it's a support group, people will learn from each other about their own skills and techniques and things that they do. And the facilitator, which would be myself and then 2 others at the community center, another dietitian and a registered nurse, will also be doing some of those classes. So it's a support group, and we learn from each other, but it's also with the knowledge of, the research that
you bring to the table here,
right.
and demonstrate and show in that class environment. Wow. Okay, so that's a pretty intense program. That's a lot. It's got to be a lot of information, a lot, like you said, based on a lot of research. That's a free class, Liz?
That is the only one that's not free,
Okay.
but it's a nominal fee of $75 for the whole year.
For a year,
and,
okay.
since our office is right inside of the fitness center, we're giving a free month of gym membership for people who want to participate.
This is great stuff. Good resources, again, stuff that we don't know. People don't necessarily know about. It's not like you have a big budget to put commercials out there to let us know what's going on. And I think that people need to recognize, hey, there are things out there. There are resources, and you just gotta look for them a little bit. We are this is the Home Care Resource Hour. I'm Rick Ferrante. We're here with Liz Tarabor, who is a registered dietitian at Henry Mayo Community Education. Now, and again, I think, Liz, just to clarify, and so everybody remembers here, where you're at is in the right there off Town Center Drive.
Yes.
Okay, and then you're within the Fitness and Health Center. That's your
absolutely.
And that's where the classes are.
You walk in the front door, and there's the Community Education Department is off to the right.
Got it. Okay. And we were talking a little bit specifically, and there are other classes where we were talking about diabetes class, and which is the one that we're talking about that's the year-long class. What's that called?
It's called the Diabetes Prevention Program.
Diabetes Prevention Program. And then that one also you contact and register for to be able to get into that class.
And we'll be starting that November 7th. So we're really looking for some participants. If you feel you might be at risk, there's all kinds of risk assessments you can Google online that are at risk for diabetes, and a few questions will tell you if you're at risk, and you might be a great candidate for the class if you kind of fall into that at-risk category.
At-risk category. Now, is that something that somebody can contact you and ask about?
Yes.
In terms of, how would I know if I'm at risk? What do I do in some of these kinds of questions? Mm-hmm. Is that something that they can get some information from?
Sure, they could contact us in our office at 200-2300.
Okay.
And ask for any of us that work there, and we can help them out with trying to figure out if they might be a good fit for the class.
If they're a candidate for this class, and then any other details on what they don't have to bring anything, right? All the materials and everything is part of this.
They'll get supplies and also some prizes along the way. And if they lose their 5% weight loss and maintain it the whole time, they'll get a $150 gift certificate to the fitness center that can be used for things like massages or things like that.
They can sell it to me. And massage, that works. Okay. All right. So we're talking a little bit, and again, I'm with Liz Tarabor, who is a registered dietitian at Henry Mayo Community Education. Now, so that's a class, and that's something that we can help, or a loved one or senior with, and going to, and resources out there, and there are others there. What should we be doing at homes? What are some of the things that we should be looking for? Maybe if we're looking at somebody else in terms of their activity and what they're doing, and then how should we be trying to prevent it ourselves at home?
Well, first we may want to figure out if some of our health considerations put us at risk, such as being overweight. If you are in the overweight category, just losing, like I mentioned earlier, 5 to 7 pounds can dramatically help with decreasing your risk of getting diabetes, or if you have it, improving the state of it. So there's that. There's portion control with eating that can help with weight loss and making healthier choices. Portion control, there's different techniques for doing portion control. One I like to use is the plate method, where you fill about half of your plate with vegetables and fruit, and about a quarter of your plate with carbohydrates, and about a quarter of your plate with lean protein.
Oh dear, so the 3/4 of the plate with the French fries is not going to cut it.
Or the full plate of spaghetti with a couple of meatballs and possibly a side salad.
Okay, you're right.
That's a little high on the carbs.
All right. So, I get it. All right, but that's the kind of thing that you're doing, is kind of putting that together for people to, little tricks and advice on how to, and that's for everybody, Liz, right?
That's for everybody.
You and everybody else in between. But the thing is, for everybody, not just because we're perhaps pre-diabetic, we don't know, because we might be one of those 1 of 3 that have no idea and are just walking around thinking everything's cool, and we've got to address this.
Right. Yes, we do.
Well, I very much thank you for coming in. How would they get a hold of you over there, not just for the diabetes class, for any of the others?
Well, they could either go on the Henry Mayo website, henrymayo.com, or they could call us at 200-2300, and those are the two best ways.
Good. Yeah, and I've been on the website, and they have a list of all of the different classes, and you can go and check that out and then register. I appreciate you coming in, Liz. I appreciate everything here you're doing and Henry Mayo's doing for the community with these classes. It's outstanding. And if anybody wants more information about this or any of the other conversations we have here on the show, contact Home Care Services at 661-412-0710, or you can go to our website, homecaresantaclarita.com. On that site, you'll also find information about many topics with videos and articles, including our daily blogs. So check it out. And that wraps it up for this time. Join us again every second Wednesday of the month, 12 noon at Home Care Resource Hour. I'm Rick Ferrante at Home Care Services on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Do you know a single parent struggling either financially or emotionally in the Santa Clarita Valley? Single Mothers Outreach is an organization that focuses exclusively on the needs of vulnerable single parents. Single Mothers Outreach provides assistance with housing, financial organization, life and career skills, in addition to emotional health and support. Single Mothers Outreach also provides single parents with a community of people who understand exactly what a single parent goes through and the struggles he or she faces on a day-to-day basis. Visit singlemothersoutreach.org.
Each year, the Santa Clarita Valley Boy Scouts of America honors leaders of character in our community. This year, the Scouts have joined with the Santa Clarita Valley Veterans Services Collaborative to salute our veterans of character. A gala event will be held at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library on November 11th. Admission to the library and Titanic exhibit will begin at 3 p.m., followed by dinner and program at 6:30 p.m. For more information, call 661-284-6330.
Views and opinions expressed by Santa Clarita Veteran Services Collaborative are not necessarily shared by the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute.
The most charming new restaurant is now in Santa Clarita. Marston's Restaurant has been a Pasadena landmark. Voted the best breakfast in California by the Food Network magazine. Now, discover Marston's new Santa Clarita location, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Marston's also has a fantastic catering menu that adds a delicious twist to any event. And they cater picnic dinners for that memorable romantic date. Experience Marston's on Newhall Ranch Road in McBean, or log on to marstonsrestaurant.com.
Aloha, friends! We invite you to come by Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brewed coffee. What makes our coffee special is how our organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. We're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons Avenue and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha!
It isn't often when we see a company launch in Santa Clarita and become an international sensation. In 2010, Jen Gerard founded Whitening Lightning in her Valencia kitchen. Now it's a booming international sensation. Leading actresses and international models have switched to Whitening Lightning to avoid the mess, hassle, and sensitivity of other products. Whitening Lightning's simple Dial a Smile kit will dramatically turn your teeth whiter in just 20 minutes. Rediscover how white your teeth can look. Visit whiteninglightning.com. whiteninglightning.com.
KHTS.
Welcome back to the Home Care Resource Hour. I'm Rick Ferrante on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. A show for those in our community who have seniors and other loved ones that may need some assistance in their home, and is produced by Home Care Services Santa Clarita. And we're here again with Liz Terabor, registered dietitian at Henry Mayo. And Liz, if to kind of really just put a cap on this, in terms of diabetes, what if you had to say, what are the top 3 things that you would talk to somebody and tell somebody about that says either to prevent or help with that disease and try to limit it? What would those top 3 things be and why?
I would probably say first have a good medical team behind them if they had diabetes. So that would include an endocrinologist, a dietitian, people who could help guide them in the right direction. But things that they could be doing at home would be learning how to have better portion control of their foods, cutting out sodas and sweets. A lot of times the sweet drinks are what get us. Definitely increasing the physical activity, and that could be going out for a 5-minute walk after dinner. It is definitely known that any kind of physical activity can bring down blood sugars. So not only is it good for our overall health, but it can help bring down your blood glucose levels. So, it could be getting to the gym and getting in a big workout, or it could be just a simple walk.
Yeah, mobility is a big issue, and especially with seniors, I mean, there are a lot of physical limitations, aches and pains. Seems to be the biggest one to try to do that one. Maybe I'm already in pain or I'm already have low energy, but it's kind of a cycle, right?
Right, absolutely.
Downward cycle, but it could also be an upward cycle. So I would imagine starting with some small things, that kind of thing. What kind of things do you first start with somebody in terms of physical activity if they have some limitations?
A short walk around the block.
Easy.
Swimming can be really good, especially if there's concerns like osteoporosis or pain or things like that. So swimming, just standing up and walking back and forth in the house a couple of times just to get moving. Parking further away in the grocery store instead of taking the first spot.
Taking the stairs instead of the elevator, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So just simple lifestyle changes.
Are there programs for seniors there at Fitness and Health that kind of are more geared, not programs, but exercise, this kind of thing, that are more geared towards seniors and the ability to kind of do that gradual approach? Are there things that...
at the fitness center? Well, they have trainers, and so the trainers can work with anybody at any level to build a program that might help them out. There's also an amazing physical therapy department on the second floor there that can help with physical therapy. Also, one of our free classes that I believe is about to start is called Balance and Mobility. So that's a good one.
Okay.
For
So if I have someone who has some mobility issues and, I want to be able to lower that blood sugar and I want to be able to address this, like one of those things that you said, then yes, the classes, but also just going and talking with one of the trainers and say, hey, this is what I need to do or my mom needs to do, and they can kind of guide them through that process.
Right. Absolutely.
And then you said you have physical therapy there as well, the actual physical therapists on site?
Yes.
And they're part of the training and part of
no, they could be, but they're their own separate entity. They're part of Henry Mayo, but they're a physical therapy office.
Okay,
so.
but that's nice to be able. I mean, it's not anywhere that you have a gym where you have a physical therapist right there on site.
Right.
That can help you with some advice, and especially with somebody who's dealing with some other issues, physical issues.
Right.
And they can does the trainer see them, or is this anybody can, or
physical therapy? Well, it probably would depend on insurance and things like that.
Okay.
Some people's insurance might require a referral from a doctor and so forth. So it's kind of like going to a regular doctor's office, getting an appointment and getting insurance processed and that sort of thing.
Got it. Okay. So, but obviously there's that expertise there because it's Henry Mayo and we have that on site, and your trainers and others can ask the questions and get the right thing and get the answers that they need from the experts.
Yes.
And so just to recap, people need to understand there's a resource here. So we talked about diabetes. What were the other ones? We have COPD, heart health.
Yeah, a lot of heart health classes, stroke prevention.
And then the nutrition.
The and a lot of nutrition. We have nutrition and inflammation, cancer and nutrition, healthy mindful eating, weight management. So we have a lot of nutrition classes, and those are all free.
And all free. Okay, so again, that's over at the Fitness and Health Center, but it's the community education portion over there, and all these are free classes. Just call, register, go out online and check out those classes, and all of them are on that setting, that kind of classroom setting over there, and then they're all at the same place, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So go check those out, and again, if you want information on that, and if you're looking for other advice or other tips in terms of these classes or any of the conversations that we have been talking about, give us a call. you're not alone out there. You're dealing with a situation that you're helping someone in the home, but a lot of people are doing the same thing. And there's people out there like Liz trying to help you and get through all that and keep us healthy over there at Henry Mayo. And again, you can go out to our website at homecaresantaclarita.com. We will post this show and we'll post others on there so that you're looking for other information, trying to find tips and advice and information on various things, including with Tom Burton and over at Providence Holy Cross, as well as Liz and the Fitness and Health Center. You can find the blogs, videos, etc., all out there on the website. We're going to be coming back again every second Wednesday of the month at 12 noon here at the Home Care Resource Hour. And if you have other topics or other information that you're looking for and you're wanting to, I want to hear a guest or somebody that comes on to the show that's providing this information, give us a call, let us know, and we'll try to put that kind of information on the air. We'll try to bring in an expert in that field so that we can kind of help the community on the things that you're looking for. So just give us a call. Again, that number is 661-412-0710. Or you can just email us and go to the website, and you can send us an email at homecaresantaclarita.com. And that's pretty much wraps it up here for us again. Join us again every second Wednesday at 12 noon. I'm Rick Ferrante on the Home Care Resource Hour at your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.